Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to another episode of On the Couch with Creatives. I say good morning because I'm here in the UK, but good afternoon or good evening if you're anywhere else in the world. I'm Melanie Perry.
I'm Julie Hyde-Mew.
And this is On the Couch with Creatives. Fans and followers of the show will know that we're part of the Creatives Group, the private network for creative professionals across the globe. Together, we help you create at your best, connect you with like-minded individuals, and therefore help you grow your creative business as well as your creative practice. If that sounds like a good idea to you and you'd like to find out more about joining our growing number of creative professionals, please don't hesitate to reach out to us after the show. We'd be delighted to talk to you. But as I say, this is On the Couch with Creatives. So Julie, who do we have on the couch today?
On the couch today is Laurence Fishman, and he's an accountant. Now, you may ask, what does being an accountant have to do with being a creative? Well, you'll find out that Laurence is actually both. And no, it's got nothing to do with being creative with your tax returns. Laurence is a qualified chartered accountant and is best known for his work within the creative industries. Whether you're a small business as a freelancer or you run a large business with many employees, you may want to know what Laurence brings to the table. So let's find out. Hi, Laurence. Welcome on the couch.
Thank you very much, Julie. It's a pleasure to be here.
Good. Well, let's kick off with how an accountant can also have a creative side. Let's talk about that a little bit, and then you can tell us about how you, what your business is all about.
Well, for sure. The reality is it's in my wiring. I'm a creative first, an accountant second. I grew up around music and art and all things creative. I think fundamentally my wiring lends itself to be more of a creative than a numbers guy. And yet, kind of ironically, maybe I'm a bit of an enigma, I really enjoy business and I'm pretty good with numbers. So mosh that all together and this is what you get.
But I think it's not quite correct to say that all creatives are all chaotic and confused when it comes to dealing with their finances, because I know a lot of creatives who are pretty good business people.
Oh, look, I think actually, I don't know whether you're aware, maybe it's a good moment to say it, but the firm at which I'm a partner specialises in advising creatives. So actually, most of my clients are creative people, and you're absolutely right. Many of them are hugely successful entrepreneurs. Not necessarily people that love the detail and then the admin side of the number crunching, but very successful business people. So you're right.
Yeah, you do have to have a firm grasp of the numbers. I mean, if you are going to be successful in a creative business or in any business, it's not whether you're creative or anything else, you do have to have a grasp of the numbers and you do have to understand what your goals are. Film production, the biggest, most important part is the budget and that allocation budget, and where you're going to make those creative decisions on where you're going to put the most of that budget. Is it going to be on acting and live action stuff? Is it going to be on VFX? What exactly are you going to do with that budget? How many people do you need on your production? When we've all seen like the Disney films where the credits roll and there's like 50 billion people.
You're there for another hour. You're there for another hour.
Another hour. And then you suddenly realise why films are so expensive, because there's a lot of people you have to pay, so you need to have a grasp of those sorts of things, don't you?
Well, yes, you do. We, again, going to sound a bit name droppy here, but we also are market leading to the film and entertainment space. So we have lots of clients in that space too. And the reality is, whilst you're right, the people behind the camera do need to have a good grasp on that. In reality, we're here to be an extension of that. So we do like to see ourselves as a counsel or an aid to those business owners, so that if they do have moments where their creative juices mean that the detail is kind of lost, we're there to kind of pick up the pieces. So but it's a good point. It's a good point.
I would need that, Laurence, because when you have a creative flight of fantasy,
yes,
and you're in the zone, The last thing you want is somebody telling you, yeah, but it's going to cost Have you thought about I don't want to do risk assessment and stuff when I'm in that zone. I'm in the creative space and I'm happy. But you do need to, and I think this is where companies like yours and another lady that we interviewed who's a bookkeeper specialising for creative, Sarah Jane Slocum, who I believe you've talked to.
Yeah, I have.
They understand, you guys understand how to talk to creative people.
Yeah.
Like, maybe let me have my little moment, and then artfully bring them back down to have those critical conversations that you need to have.
There's a skill in that. I got to tell you, and this is not blowing my firm's collective trumpet, but actually, it's all very well and good being a really good accountant, which there are hundreds of those out there, if not thousands. But actually being able to help clients that maybe are not so savvy when it comes to the finances decipher some pretty complex aspects of their business, I think there's a skill in that. And some people just don't have that. Some of it's just interpersonal skill, actually. It's can you break this down in a way that would make it palatable for someone that really doesn't like heavy duty numbers? It's not their thing. So yeah, again, you've nailed it.
Yeah, that's me. It's somebody would have to make it palatable, because when anybody starts mentioning numbers to me, my first reaction is to freak out big time and run away, miles away in the opposite direction. But having a good accountant and having good people that deal with taxes, there are a lot of benefits, because what a lot of people I think don't realise as well is that, okay, there's in financial planning, there's a lot of it is putting money away and budgeting, whatever, but there are actually a lot of benefits that can be had for people in certain industries as well, that people don't necessarily know what the tax breaks are or what certain things, the allowable things are. So, having that explained to you in a understandable way is worth knowing as well, isn't it?
Well, it is. And you've also touched upon one of my favorite topics to rant about, which is the fact that, like in every sector, and this is, this extends way beyond just accountancy, there's a food chain. Okay, so there are people who are bookkeepers, nothing wrong with bookkeepers, but they're bookkeepers. There are international accountants, tax accountants, and each person kind of finds their spot. But I think the value that an accountant can bring above and beyond that, identifying things like useful tax breaks, but even more broadly, just strategic thinking. With the way we work with our clients is, as I said earlier, or certainly the way I work with my clients, is I like to see myself as an extension of their business. So we are not just there to box tick or to handle compliance once a year and shove in a VAT return once a quarter. If that was my job, I probably wouldn't be doing it, because I always find when I was more junior and that was my focus, I found it a bit heavy duty for someone that wants to be on the coal face doing exciting stuff. But actually, when I'm now advising my clients, and most of my role is advisory, we are forever looking for opportunities for them, ways to structure things better, ways to get money into their family in a more tax efficient way. Little things like that make a huge, huge difference. And where we might not be as affordable possibly as a bookkeeper sat above a fish and chip shop, actually, we think we pay for ourselves by doing some clever tax planning.
Yeah, it's fascinating. Once you get into it, it is actually quite fascinating. I never thought I'd say that in a million years, but it can be with the right person.
Look, I love my job now. I have to tell you, being very, very candid and honest, and everyone who knows me knows this anyway, I really very nearly left accountancy after 3 years of doing it, because I always want, my father's now retired, but he was a chartered accountant, so was my uncle. I was doomed. There was no escape for me. But although I didn't really want to do accountancy, I was convinced to do it to get the ACA qualification, which was brutal, by the way, but we can talk about that later. And I did my accounts exams. I passed them all quite quickly, thank God. And then I became a qualified accountant, and then sat back and thought, yeah, that's great. I've got the piece of paper and some initials after my name, but I don't really want to be doing this much longer. It's not for me. And yet, here we are. 10, 15 years later, I'm still here and very much enjoying what I do.
You said something very interesting earlier. You said you come from a family of creators, musicians, whatever, and now you say you come from a family of accountants.
Two sides. My mum's side are all creatives, art, music, very warm people, if that's a phrase, I don't know. But
warm people,
people that are, really enjoy being around, other communities and networking and all that sort of stuff. My father's side of the family, a bit more, straight, shall we say, and that's where the numbery side comes. So I guess the genes pass down a little bit of each, and that's why I'm somewhere in the middle.
And how did they cope with each other, your parents?
Oh, look, there's what they say, right? Opposites attract, I guess. They're very different in style, and yet, thank God, they've been married tens and tens of years. It works. It works.
Yeah. So I mean, but that sounds resonant of me and my husband. Actually, I'm off the chart creative, and again, my mother's side of the family, very creative. She used to sing and dance and all of that. And my father was an accountant, funnily enough, in the city.
I knew that. Okay.
But my husband, again, he's very good with numbers. He's very analytical. He's very, and yeah, sometimes we do have to find a way of communicating, because sometimes we do miss each other. But he does bring me back down to earth when I need it, which is good, because otherwise I'd probably be a danger if I was let out on my own.
It's a balance, right? If you had two, I mean, some of my partners say if they had another Lawrence in the building, I'm not sure they could cope, because I'm a bit of a live wire in some ways, okay? And I know I'm not a conventional, you wouldn't open a textbook and look up accountant and see me necessarily. And I think initially, no one really knew quite what to do with me. And that only came as I got more mature, actually, because I conformed. I did the thing that I swore I'd never do in my former years, which was I was the ultimate chameleon, and I was quite good at it. I would just blend whatever I needed. If I needed to fake Eton, floppy head Eton boy, I could do that. I could put on, I won't put it on for you, but I could put on a really posh accent if I need to. Yeah, I'd rather not. I'd rather not. But I could. And so I just looked around my environment, my ecosystem, and just thought that's where I need to be. So I will do it. And it was still me. I wasn't faking anything. It was still me, but it was me with a bit of a mask on. And as I became more senior, and as I became more confident in who I was, the mask just went, and I much at 43 years old, I'm much more accepting of the fact that there'll be a huge swathe of people that will not like me, and that's totally fine. I understand, but there will be a community of people who will get the way I work and would like to work with me. Thankfully, quite a lot of people. My portfolio is a really fast growth portfolio, and those people will hopefully benefit from my advice, but more importantly, have a bit of fun doing it as well, because this is how I work with my clients. I don't do the overly corporate thing anymore.
So on a personal level, how do you let that creative side of you come out?
Actually, the clue is over my right shoulder. Actually, away from my day-to-day, I never want to lose, and I encourage my kids to do the same. I never want to lose those things that make me whole. And actually, in being very honest with you, it feels like therapy now, but being very honest with you.
You're on the couch.
Yeah, I'm on the couch. You're right. Gonna start sweating in a minute. But the times through my life where I felt I'd lost my way a little bit. Interestingly, when I deep dived, I realized the reason that I was a little bit lost was because I'd lost that side of me. The creative spirit that lives inside needs to be fed. And if it doesn't, I very quickly find that I get fed up and bored and I get a bit numb with life. So actually, whenever I start to feel like that, I wish I had more time for it. I don't. But whenever I really start to feel a bit flat, that locking myself in this room with my keyboard, you can't see the rest of my setup, but with my keyboard, my mic, and a bit of my own time, that equalizes me. Same thing with art. I've always loved painting and sketching and drawing. Anything that's creative like that, I love. I get a little bit, it's not really creative, but I get a little bit of that rush from advising and being around people in my day-to-day now. So there's nothing else creative really. We do some creative accounting, obviously all legal, but other than that, we, just dealing with clients, every single day of mine now is different. A huge variety at my level, because I can have 8 hours of back-to-back meetings, and every 1 hour slot will be with a different sector, a different issue, a different problem that needs solving, and that for me, I get a rush off that.
Well, you're also.
I think you need to do something about the wall in your office. You need.
Yeah, this is not my office. I'll tell you the story of this one, because so many people make that comment. I moved house a year ago, and we are waiting to do some work to the house. This is not my choice of decor, I promise you. But
it seems very at odds that
beige.
you create a person and then you have this bland beige.
I could not agree with you more. It's guilty, absolutely guilty. But we are trying to do it all in one go rather than doing it piecemeal. So you couldn't be more right. And I've almost in protest not even put a plant behind me or just protest. It's just I hate it all. So yeah, you're absolutely right. I agree.
I love that. I was going to say that you're talking about your creativity and your love of music. You're also known as the singing accountant, aren't you, as well? And you have treated us to some of your singing on LinkedIn with little clips. And I just would like to play out a couple of clips now, because I think your voice needs to be heard and people just need to see the beauty of Laurence singing.
You with those sad eyes, don't be discouraged, I realize it's hard to take courage in a world full of people. You can lose sight of it all. Darkness inside you make you feel so small. Show me a smile, and don't be unhappy. Can't remember when last saw you laughing. This world makes it crazy. You take it all you can bear. Just call me up, and I will always be there. And I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors. That's why I love you. Don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. True colors are beautiful, like a rainbow.
So that was the rather luscious tones of Laurence Fishman. And I know you're all going to have a great day now that you've seen that, because it cheers me up whenever I hear his music. It is just lovely. And I do, yeah, lovely. So we've got all gooey now. But I'd also like to talk about, you've got quite a lot of love of animals as well, haven't you, Laurence?
Again, it stems from my childhood. I was that kind of weird kid that didn't have Cindy Crawford on his wall growing up. I had Athena posters of dolphins, literally, and it's not a joke. That's the truth. I just always found nature fascinating. I was a subscriber or a member of the WWF. I don't know, it's not the wrestling thing, but the original World Wildlife Foundation. I adopted a dolphin, literally. I mean, I don't know whether I actually did, but I paid someone to adopt a dolphin somewhere. God knows where that money went, but I remember doing that. And yeah, I've always found just myself connected to nature in every sense of the word. You know, put me in a forest around lakes and mountains, I feel whole. Put me on a beach alone, just with the sound of the waves, I'm totally in my element. That for me is just, again, part of maybe my wiring. I don't know. But yes.
Well, they say you should never trust a person who doesn't like animals.
That's true. Well, yeah, I think there's an element of that, because for me, every life's a life. And the only thing I probably ever would, this is going to sound terrible, people are going to judge me here. The only thing I maybe make an exception for is big hairy spiders. I have a real thing about spiders, as in I will scream like the noise a kettle makes. that.
It's the legs, isn't it?
I can't. I've never been able to handle spiders, but everything else, I teach my kids the same values. We save it. You know, you make sure you look after it. You love it. It's a life. It has a mum and a dad, and all those sorts of basic principles.
Yeah.
And obviously, you know, I probably where you're going with this, but my other hashtag, if you like, on LinkedIn, which is a bit tongue in cheek, but I got labelled it, so I've run with it. I got labelled Lord Atlantis because of my dolphin saving exploits. So that was a crazy moment.
I thought you were going to say you were born with webbed feet.
No, well, that too. I won't put my feet up here because I can't quite arch them up. But no, not that.
Tell us, because you did have a remarkable experience saving a dolphin, didn't you? And we're gonna run the clip in a minute.
Okay.
But tell us how that came about.
Oh, it's the most overtold story anywhere. I think most people are so fed up of me mentioning dolphins, but I don't care. I'm going to dine out on that one forever. In a very short way, I was in Marbella and south of Spain, Estepona, actually. My mum's side of the family are from that part of the world, so I go back there a lot. And I mentioned earlier, one of my favorite things to do is, even on holiday, I'm a bit crazy like that, but I wake up early, way before anyone else gets up. It's still dark when I get up on holiday, and I walk down to the beach, which is just a 2-3 minute walk down from where we stay. And I just sit there listening in the darkness. It's a bit weird, but in the darkness, waiting for sunrise. I find that's the most amazing way to start your day. On that particular day, even though it's Costa del Sol, sun, it was stormy, which is really, really odd for summer. It was quite stormy and dark, windy. The waves the sea was quite choppy. And as I walked down to the beach, I could hear like a splashing noise. And I couldn't see anything because it was so dark, you couldn't even see I couldn't see my hand in front of my face, but I shone my torch and saw a fin. So obviously, initially, I thought I'm going to be the first human ever eaten by a shark on land. That would have been a story and a half. But it wasn't a shark, it was a dolphin. And to cut a long story short, there was no one for miles in any direction. And so I was on the beach alone with a dolphin. And like I said to you earlier, I wouldn't walk away from a ladybird that was struggling, let alone a dolphin. So I managed to, it took me a long time, actually. The clip is only a few minutes, but I stayed with it until I saw it swim off, and managed to get it back into the water. And it was honestly, I know it sounds a bit over the top, but for someone that I mentioned earlier, grew up in love with kind of nature and specifically the sea, the ocean, and dolphins, to have a dolphin in my arms and it was hurt and bleeding, to get it back in the water and see it swim off. I can't tell you how moving it was for me. I know everyone else just goes, "Oh, shut up! It's a story that none of us care about." But it was like one of those moments where you think, I don't know why, but I was meant to be there. I don't know why, but I was meant to be there, because that dolphin would have 100% died had I not been there.
So it was stranded.
It was stranded. It did. Oh. I don't know why. It had become stranded on the rocks away from the water. It was very stormy. It was a juvenile dolphin. It wasn't a sort of a huge dolphin. It was a baby dolphin, and it was bleeding on the sand, but it was still alive. It was still thrashing, looking back at me, and I was just thinking, "Oh my God, it's like a film script, right? You couldn't write that." But I managed to sort of carry it back into the water, and it took a good few attempts because it didn't have the strength to swim away first time, but eventually it swam away. And I hope it made it. I don't know, but yeah, a special moment for me anyway.
Well, let's take a look at the Great Dolphin Rescue, because I'm sure there are some of our viewers that haven't seen it.
Do it on mute because my voice on it is horrendous. But no, I'm joking. You can play it. Run it.
Oh, come on, I'll help you. Come. I'm going to save you. God. Oh my God. It's a dolphin. Off you go, kid. I'm going to save you. 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 Wait. What the... Come. Off you go, dolphin, off you go. You can do it. Come on. Oh my God. No, 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 no. Come on, dolphin. You can do it. Come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Oh my God, come on. No, I'm going to save you. I'm going to save you. I'm going to save you. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. No, 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 come on. Yes, yes. Come on. Come on. Come on. Yes. Oh my God. That was, oh my feet. That was mental. No, dolphin, come on, I tried to save you. Come on, you can do it. Come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on, kid, come on, kid, come on, kid. Let's go. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. I'm not giving up on you. I'm not giving up on you. I'm not giving up on you. Come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on. I'm not giving up on you, kid. I'm not giving up on you. I'm not giving up on you. Come on, come on, come on. I'm not giving up on you. No, 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 no. Come on, 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 come on. Go, 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 go. Go, go, go. No, don't come back on shore. Go. Come on, go, 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 go. Yes. 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 Oh God, yes. Oh God, what the hell is my life? What even is my life? And now it is pouring. It's goddamn pouring on me. Oh, Jesus. I'm actually shaking. Oh my God. What even is my life? Seriously. I honestly can't believe that this happened. I've got blood all over my hands. But I think I saved it. Honestly, what is going on? I'm on the Costa del Sol where it never rains. And during that whole experience, the heavens opened. It is pouring on me. I had to hide under one of these little beach things. Honestly, don't know what to say.
Okay, so that was Lord Atlantis. So that was in Gibraltar, was it, Lawrence?
It was just up the coast from Gibraltar. My mum is from Gibraltar. I've got a lot of family there still. It's a place that is has a big piece of my heart because I did a lot of my growing up there. I don't know whether you know that coastline, but if you just kind of drive up the coastline on the east side of Spain from Gibraltar, you get to the Costa del Sol, which is well, the places we normally stay are Estepona, Marbella, that sort of area. So not far, maybe half-hour drive from Gibraltar. But Gibraltar, I mean, you know, say that again?
Do you see a lot of dolphins there, or was that?
Yeah, no, the Straits of Gibraltar specifically, it's a really small channel of water between the Atlas Mountains of Morocco and Gibraltar. If you take, they do dolphin cruises every day, but if you take any sort of boat on that little strait of water, the pods of dolphins will swim alongside the boat without fail. I mean, every single boat that swims, every single boat that goes past, the dolphins are attracted to it, and it's always a magical moment. It's such a beautiful thing to see.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It's good. It's good.
Okay, let's talk about your top 3 tips for people in your industry or even in the creative industries when it comes to accountancy.
I think I'll probably start talking about those entering the profession as a graduate, because I think that's the bit where most people need guidance. I didn't really, even though my father, as I said, he's now a retired accountant, he was an accountant, his journey was very different to the journey I had. And so I never really knew what I was getting into. And that was tough, you know, in a lot of ways. So I think a really basic tip, but I think it's so worth warning people how difficult it is to become a chartered accountant. I had no idea how brutal it was going to be. Thank God, I don't know how, I still wonder how, but I managed to get through all my exams first time. But It was so intense, I can't tell you, because it's one of the only professions that I can think of. Even law, you do, it's separate. You do your studies separately, and then you go on to practice law. In accountancy, you're working 9 to 5, and you're also expected to study, and the volume of content you have to kind of churn through to pass these exams, I mean, it's brutal. As I said, I was working till 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, quite regularly, just to try and get through the content. So I think I would say, be prepared for anyone going into the practice. That's not scaremongering. It's a great profession, but I think people need to be aware that to get through these exams, you have to have a little bit of graft about you. You're not just going to breeze these. These are not GCSEs. They are a totally different cut above. You've got to really put your heart into it. Linked to that, because you are still working at the same time, I think what I value in my staff, when I see juniors coming through, the magic, the raw ingredient that is a little bit more intangible than others, is those that show they care. I know that's such a basic human point, but when you start out on your career journey, and it's, might be 30, 40, 50, whatever, however long it is for all of us, I think it makes such a big difference when you throw your own heart into something and actually go, I may not be here forever, because the reality is most people won't be. They'll have another job somewhere down the line. But whilst I'm here, I'm going to give 200%. I'm going to, because I want that to be part of, how I deliver my service on an individual level. Forget the name on the door for a minute. This is, again, something we've all learned on LinkedIn, that your personal brand matters. I've carried that. I've worked at a few different firms, and my personal brand is unchanged. The name on the door is changed. The firm I'm affiliated to has changed, but I haven't. So those human traits that each of us are wired differently, as I said earlier, but whatever our human traits are, bring those 100% to the work you do. So that's probably the first one. The second one is probably find a firm that matches you, and that's not easy. Okay, that's the hardest one on my list, because it's a very competitive space. So when you come out of university and you're applying for jobs, they're not queuing up to take you, you're queuing up to try and find a way in. But my story I worked at BDO, which is a big international firm, when I first started my graduate career, and my journey into that firm, just as a quick aside, was not easy, because I was a naughty boy in my teens. I'm not going to lie and say I was immaculate, because I wasn't. I had too much fun, and I did not get the grades I should have done at A level. I went to a very good school and was predicted good grades, but I did it all wrong. I was too cocky and thought I would walk into the exams and just get 3 A's, and I didn't. So when I was applying, I realized I didn't have the minimum entry requirements for a lot of the firms I was applying to. But I offered my services for free. I rang them up and said, I really want to work for you. I don't want to work anywhere else. I want to work for you. Let me come and work for you for 8 weeks. Don't pay me. I just want to prove to you that when I was 18, I was an idiot. I'm now 21, 22. I'm still an idiot, but I think I can add some value. And they must have thought I was crazy, but they gave me a chance. And when I was there, I did the thing I said earlier. I just worked so hard. It's unbelievable. I really, work my fingers to the bone. But that leads me on to the third, and then I'll stop talking, which is linked again, is always look around you. I think so many people naturally do that. They just look down at their desk and just kind of focus on their thing. Because it's very natural to do that. Just focus on making sure I'm just delivering what I'm doing. But what I started to realize as I got a little bit more senior is there were people all around me who were adding value in different ways. And actually, credit to them, not me, credit to them, I am now a jigsaw puzzle of lots of their traits, because I'd watch what they were doing and go, wow, that guy over there, I don't really know him. He doesn't even know I exist. But I love what he just did there. That was genius. It was so brave or so confident. I wish I could emulate that. And I would challenge myself to emulate it. So I think learn from everything around you, breathe it in. I think those are my 3 takeaways for people trying to get into the career.
Very good ones too. And I think it's right. It's not an easy path, and doing your accountancy exams. And I've known people who have been through the process And even the exams themselves are brutal because they're in parts, aren't they? And if you fail one question or one bit of it, then you have to retake the whole thing all over again. And it's a hard path. You have to be committed to it. You do have to be committed to it. And I loved your cheek of phoning somebody up and saying, I'll work for you for free. You know, you never know what can happen if you just have the front, I guess, enough to just try and say, look, you know, I've got nothing to lose. Got nothing to lose. Just go out there and try. You never know where it can get you.
I mean, I was the shyest kid. People don't believe me when I say that. I was the shyest kid. I wouldn't leave my mum's side. But when I started again to learn as I got older, it's a Jewish word. It's chutzpah. You've got.
Chutzpah. Yeah, I was thinking of that.
Yeah, you've got to have chutzpah in life because that actually opens doors for you. It's all very well and good having talent or being smart. That gets you nowhere. Okay, you have to have that plus enough front to go knock, let me in. And if they don't let you in, you kick the door off the hinge. Okay, you've got to try and make your own. You've got to make your own chances, right? And frankly, I was desperate, to be honest, because it dawned on me 3 years later. I didn't realize it would affect me, but it dawned on me 3 years later that, oh my God, why? I'm such a stupid idiot. Why could I not have just worked a little harder at 18? And you can't go back. Another life lesson. You can't go back. So I thought, well, if I can't go back, I need to find a way to go forward. And look, it was a bolshy move and it could have exploded in my face and been the biggest, most embarrassing moment ever. But luckily, they took a bit of a chance and that started my career. I didn't look back after that. But yeah, without that, I don't know where I would have been. But yeah.
Well, they always say, you know, the ubiquitous that if you don't ask, you're getting a 100% no. But if you ask, you might get a 50% yes. So
yeah.
You never know.
There's a Spanish phrase my mum likes to use. I'll translate it. It doesn't translate as well, but it basically says if you don't knock at the door will never answer. So it's one that I live by now. You know, I have no shame in my game whatsoever. Same for the way I do business. You know, even if I think a prospect is too big for me, in theory, generally speaking, that wouldn't be our normal sweet spot client. You've got to be in it to win it. So I put myself in situations where you wouldn't necessarily think I should be putting myself into, and yet backing myself a little bit, because you've got to back yourself. I win more than I lose. So I take it.
Absolutely. And talking of chutzpah and front and values and ethics and morals and all of those important things, we're at that point in our little show where we're going to get the values jam cards out and we're going to pick a value and talk to you, get inside your head and talk to you about that value. So I'm going to just get up my cards.
Oh, okay. This is exciting.
And I'm going to run my finger along the cards. And you're going to yell stop when you want me to stop, and we'll pick that value.
Stop.
No, you went back. You picked another card.
All right, I trust her.
Let me do it again. I'm doing it again because I jumped.
Stop.
Oh, all right, okay. Let's have a look. What did you pick? Oh, only because I follow you on LinkedIn. This is actually a very good one for you, Laurence, as well.
Okay.
You picked, and it's good because it's something we haven't talked about. Family.
Okay.
The value of family. So we're going to ask you, as we're all creatives here, we're going to ask you creatively about the value of family. So, Laurence, what does family mean to you? What does it look, feel, and sound like?
Oh. Okay, it's a very interesting question. Firstly, I'd say family is huge for me. We talked about it earlier. My mum is one of 6, and my grandparents are one of many, many more. My late grandfather, unfortunately, is no longer with us. My grandma is still with us on my mum's side. I think I'm the eldest of, do you know what? It's so many, I've lost track. First cousins. I have so many first cousins, I can't tell you. And I'm the eldest as well. So I was forever the kid at 10, changing my cousin's nappy, taking them out. I've been around like family always. And I loved it. I always was desperate to be a father. I loved the idea of being a daddy. I am now a daddy. And it is that I don't want to get too mushy, but actually it's the most beautiful thing. You know, there was nothing like holding your kid for the first time or watching them grow. I mean, my kids are not kids anymore. Well, they are kids, but they're, you know, my son's 12. Yeah, my son's 12 and my daughter's 9 going on 21. So it's they're not babies, but even that journey, it's so beautiful watching them. And I'm a really loving dad. I think I'm a silly dad as well. My kids sometimes call me Mrs. Doubtfire without the latex, because I'm not very good at doing the sensible dad thing. I'm much better at doing the let's go crazy and have a complete laugh thing. And they love that, I think. Their mum less so, but you know, it is what it is. And so yeah, I think that's huge. I think also there's a massive responsibility as a father to instill in them, really, we talked about this a lot, so it's a common thread, really good values. I think, you know, I want my kids to be kind and nice to people. Even little, I really don't want a virtue signal here, but I was on my front lawn yesterday with my kids, and we were just kind of chatting and playing. My kid was playing football with me, and a little old man was walking down the road across the way, and I could see he was really struggling with like a walking stick, and he had a letter in his hand, and we have a post box at the end of our road, and I'm not looking for point scoring, anything like that, but I did, because it's how I was raised. I crossed the road and I said, "Excuse me, sir, are you okay? You look like you're struggling. Are you taking that letter? I can go post it for you." And he said, "Thank you very much. I'd rather get my steps in. I'd rather get out some fresh air." But my kids then sat back and go, "That was really kind what you did, Dad." And I said to them, "You do the same. You do the same. Whenever that chance comes, you always look out for people around you. Be kind, be nice." So I think, yeah, it's a weird way of putting it, but for me, legacy as a word, as a thing, as a concept is massive for me. I am a result of what my parents did for me, the opportunities they gave me, the values they instilled in me. Not just my parents, my grandparents, my cousin, everyone played into that. Same for my kids. I want my kids to be really as rounded adults as they can be when they're older. I have real concerns over my daughter. She needs caging. But I will keep trying as long as I can until I really can't take any more. In fact, you mentioned what does it sound like? I will send you a recording of my daughter when she loses her mind. Then you'll know. She is the sassiest of them all. My son is much more like Lucy, in that he's, you know, quite sensible and he wants to do well and he wants to work hard. My daughter, unfortunately,
they say daddy's girl, don't they?
She got Lawrence's genes, so she is a little bit flamboyant and likes to have fun, probably too much fun. She's a bit sassy and she's got a big personality, but sometimes as a 9-year-old it needs to be reined in. I can say that as her daddy.
Yeah.
I think that answers your question, but if not, please feel free to probe.
Yeah,
it's lovely to listen to people wax lyrical about their families. It's very important.
Yeah,
I think so. I mean, I do share that on LinkedIn, as Melanie's probably seen. I made a promise to both my kids, although they were a day old, so they didn't know it, but I made it to myself as well, that every year on their birthday, I'd write them a poem. And I've done that every single year since they were born. I share it on LinkedIn as well now. But it's both a memoir, an aid memoir of the year just gone. So I talk about some of the highlights that they've done, but also finish off with my hopes for them for the next year. And I share it because why not? But actually what I mostly did for them is I set them both up with an email account when they were born, and I've sent them all those emails every year, so that one day when I'm old and grey or gone, it's going to happen to all of us, they will have those emails every single year when their birthday. They can look back at it. And again, it's cutesy and it's a bit, but actually, I hope they will, you know, maybe now they don't really, you know, I read it to them every birthday, but they don't really see the value in it, I don't think. But when they're my age, maybe, or beyond, they might look back and go, wow, my dad really
loved it. They'll love it when you're dead, Laurence.
Yeah, I can't wait. I don't wait.
I'm going to say, and more positively, they will love it when they have babies of their own.
Yeah, let's go with that one. Have a fun with that one, Melanie.
Yeah, that when you have babies of your own, it changes you, doesn't it? When you become a parent, you think about things in a different way. And my little boy is a bit like your daughter. He's my James. He's got a character with a capital C.
Love that.
You know, and sometimes his dad is a bit like, and there's me going, yes.
Same. I love it as much as I also. I mean, I've got grey hairs at the back because of it, but actually, I do secretly like it because not taking anything away from my son. I love my son exactly the same, but I sometimes think I wish he had a little bit more confidence in himself, because confidence is a massive thing in life. If you don't have that inner strength, some people get chewed up. As they get older, they get chewed up and spat out. Whereas my daughter, she would have everyone running. Everyone will be running in the other direction. She's the one chewing people up. So we'll see.
That's not my kind of girl, Laurence.
Yeah, well, she. I mean, I love her to bits. I love her to bits. But yeah.
Wonderful. Well, that's a lovely thing to wrap up the show on, Laurence. And thanks so much for coming on the couch and for talking to us. You've been an absolute pleasure. I've
really enjoyed it. Thank you so much for having me here. I hope I gave you the answers you wanted.
Oh, you did. It's been absolute joy. I've enjoyed every moment. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today. And thank you to my co-host, Julie, as well. It's always lovely when you join me on the couch. And thank you to our lovely viewers for tuning in for this latest episode. But that's all we have time for. So until next time, we'll see you.